Hey guys, welcome back to the Marking Out Network. I am Neal, Pretty Boy Thomas, here with
your boy Cordell, aka Smoke.
Hey, yo, it's Dean Walker.
How you guys doing today? You guys are good? Are you guys good?
It's been a long day,
I'm
man.
good.
Hey, so
tired.
yeah, we had something planned today. It didn't go as planned. We had a big interview coming up. We're not going to say who because eventually we're going to get to it, but it didn't go as planned. So we're going to do, obviously, our regular show. We're going to do the regular podcast, and we're going to hopefully this interview works out in the future, and we're going to try to make it work because we were so ready to do this interview with this very specific wrestler. And unfortunately, it didn't go as planned tonight. But hey, we're here. We're gonna talk about WWE, Raw, and SmackDown, things we liked, things we didn't like. And Smoke, I know you got a lot to say about the women's tag team division. Charlotte coming back, Ronda Rousey, Baszler unifying the titles. We're gonna talk about all that stuff. I know Dean, you're keen on that too. You can't wait to dive in, right?
I'm jumping for joy again, yet again.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Yes. First thing I want to talk about though, the big main event. Jey Uso, Austin Theory, United States title on the line. Which way is Jay's going to go? Is he going to side with Roman? Is he going to side with his brother? We came to find out nothing in this fucking main event. Nothing actually happened because Jimmy ends up super kicking Jay by accident. Jay's like, I don't got nothing to do with you. I don't want to have nothing to do with Solo. Now Jay is going to finally make his decision next week when it comes to Roman Reigns. How do we feel about that? We're engaged back in the Bloodline storyline, right? We're like, hey, it got away from us at WrestleMania. Let me ask you guys this. I know some people are saying, before we get into the details of the story, is the Bloodline story the best story in WWE history?
I don't think so. I don't think it's the best story in WWE history. I feel like it's the best one. I feel like it's the best story in recent years.
What's a better storyline than the Bloodline story to you?
DX has had many storylines better than the Bloodline.
One that keeps you coming back engaged from week to week to week, and you can't wait to see what happens?
Yeah, they gave Vince McMahon hell.
Yeah?
They gave Vince McMahon how can I forget, since I'm a big supporter of the women's division, Trish Stratus and Mickie James.
You're putting that up there with the Bloodline story for you?
That was way better than that. First
Really?
of all, I'd never seen so many people root for the villain in that storyline.
Okay. All right.
But the Bloodline has had some good moments.
Good moments?
Can't say they've had great matches.
Did the storyline with Trish and Mickie James go a year?
It went about, I want to say, like 6 months.
What's
the difference if it went a year or not? It's not about how long it ran. Or you can have a story that has gone on for way too long and it still be lackluster.
Okay.
It don't matter about that. It's about the quality of it.
Okay, so you're talking about the quality over the quantity.
I recall you saying you were bored of it a long time ago.
I mean, I was just asking the question.
I'm just saying, so it don't matter if it lasts.
I'm not saying the Bloodline story is the greatest story of all time. I'm not saying that. I just wanted to know what you thought about it. What do you think about that, Dean?
I was going to say no, right? I was going to say no, and then I realized I couldn't think of a better storyline. I'm going to have to say, if it's not the best, it's one of the best.
Yeah.
It's one of, but it's not the.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it most of the time. It got boring for a while, but it's not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's probably one of the best.
Now, because is it because like the length of the storyline, or is it because so many parts and so many moving pieces and so many characters involved in it?
I mean, there's storylines that could be insanely boring if they're too long, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say it's good because it's long, but I will say that the length does play a factor in just how durable the story is. You know, it's got to play a factor, but it's not good because of the length. But the length is a good thing about it, I guess, to prove that it can last that long.
When we talk about greatest ever, it's all about, everybody has their own opinion too. So based on what do you enjoy the most, right? Mm-hmm. Are you enjoying the Bloodline story the most of all the other stories in the history of professional wrestling? Smoke said no. He mentioned Trish and Mickie James. You say it's probably the best storyline that WWE's ever done. For me personally, it's always nothing's ever going to trump Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
That to me was wrestling at its pinnacle, at its peak, because so much involved week to week. What was going to happen between Austin, him destroying Vince McMahon stuff. To me, that was the pinnacle. A lot of people can go back. There's a million different stories in professional wrestling. Hogan and Savage in the late 80s. I mean, there's so much that you could talk about, but I think for today's standard, we got away from great storytelling, and when we finally latched onto a great story, it's automatically the greatest ever. But you got to think though too, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there was some great storytelling in professional wrestling. It's just maybe not to the magnitude, and WWE finally put forth the effort to tell a great story. Now, depending how this ends, I can equate this to Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. Game of Thrones was on pace to be the greatest show in the history of television.
Yep.
The last 2 seasons, straight up shit the bed. It was bad.
That was because effort had been taken out of that show.
They didn't know how to end the series. And
they went off of the books. They lost the material.
And they lost. Exactly. That's what happened. So the last 2 seasons were straight up garbage. Walking Dead, it dragged on a little too long. There's a lot of shows, man, that once they reach their peak. What?
Would you just say?
Walking Dead?
It did what?
It went on a little too long. Yeah, it did. I think so.
I guess you could say that about the Bloodline. It has gone on for a little too long.
I think they got to speed up the pace, but I know we don't talk about ratings on the show. I hate talk about ratings. I don't want to talk about ratings of Raw and SmackDown because that's not going to justify our opinion. But if you look at it in WWE's eyes, the rating for Roman Reigns' 1,000 celebration was through the fucking roof. Now, what does that mean? They're going to continue this for as long as they possibly can because why? It draws in people. People want to see Roman Reigns. They want to see the Bloodline saga. And therefore, Roman Reigns probably is not going to lose this title for a long fucking time, man. That's what's going to happen. And that's my fear.
He's looking like champ for 2024.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely going to keep the title. So that's my fear about the Bloodline saga. Now, going back to SmackDown specifically, Jay still waffling, and we don't know what he's going to choose. I feel like he wants to side with Jimmy. It's always going to be about Jay versus Roman in the end. I mean, you can even pinpoint there's been instances Solo might turn on Roman. It seems like everybody's going to turn on Roman. We're going to find out next week with Roman Reigns and Jay in his decision, but I just hope he makes a decision. I hate this back and forth stuff too, because obviously, clearly, their dynamic with each other is not working right now. And Jay, I didn't think he was going to win the United States title. Did you, Smoke, against Austin Theory? Probably that wasn't in the cards, right?
Can you give me? Yeah, I saw a little glimmer of hope, little glimmer. Thought he was going to win it.
Yeah.
But it ended how I expected it to end.
Yeah.
My thing is with Jay, it's like this whole thing about him always making faces and being distraught every time something happens in between the family. I'm like, dude, you the one who kicked it off.
Yeah.
You kick it off every time, man. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I get tired of the I can't believe this scene and stuff like that. And I'm like, just choose a side and keep it moving.
Yeah, of course. Without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. What do you think there, Dean?
Right now, I'm just looking up. You were talking about the ratings. I know the ratings are not important to us.
Yes.
Whether something's good or bad.
Yeah.
I know it can play a factor, but I think it was the After the Bell podcast. I swear to God, I heard Corey Graves say that within just a few days, Jimmy Uso turning on Roman got like 50 million views.
Across social media,
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Yes.
Been trying to look. I don't see a clip on their YouTube. I'm trying. I'm sure it's there.
They
But
even mentioned
50 million views in just a few days.
Yeah.
We talk about a Lesnar return getting 10, 12 million, and we're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, but 50 million, that's insane.
Do you think that they're trying to give every character of the Bloodline their own saga and chapter?
Everybody
It's,
has, yes.
it's almost like when they try to do spin-off TV shows, they always try to make those characters important in case they want to do a spin-off.
In case they want to do a spin-off. That is actually very perfect because Jimmy, I feel like Jimmy for the longest time was the brute of the family besides Solo. And he just kind of took a back seat, and I feel like now we're seeing Jimmy's saga of his version of what the Bloodline means.
Yes. Without a doubt. And I think 50 million, I want to say they mentioned that on television too. I don't know if it was on SmackDown. They might have mentioned it, or somebody did.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah,
I could be wrong, but obviously across social media, WWE is dominating right now, and 50 million views for anything would be good, no matter what it is. But I mean, that's pretty incredible when you think about it. So obviously the Bloodline story is working. People are invested in 100%, and I think that's the reason why they're going to. Now, if the ratings were the opposite, and people were tuning out, and nobody gave a shit about Roman's 1,000th day of champion, and nobody cared about the Bloodline story, you would see the decline in viewership. But obviously, ticket sales are really good. The viewership is really good. Fox is probably happy. I don't know the details on that. Not so much on Raw because Bloodline storyline is not on Monday Night Raw, but I mean on SmackDown, it's the A show. It's getting 2.4, 2.5, 2.9, whatever. And again, I hate talking ratings, man. I really do. Because sometimes the rating is really good and the show can be straight up garbage, and sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes it's a really good show and the ratings weren't there. It just depends on what it's going up against. But that's the Bloodline story is the story right now in WWE, and they're going to continue going forward. And it's just how other people are going to get incorporated in this. Right now it's Jay, Jimmy, Solo, Roman. How does Cody Rhodes weasel his way back in there going against, Roman Reigns? Is he going to be in the Money in the Bank? But now it seems like he's going to go against Lesnar at SummerSlam. That's the rumors going around. It's going to be a bull rope match or some shit like that. I mean, we're going to get Lesnar and Cody Rhodes 3 at SummerSlam. That's fine. Finish the story. I don't know if Cody Rhodes is ever going to finish the story at this point, but I think we're going to have to look back at WrestleMania, look forward to WrestleMania 40. But speaking of looking back and looking forward into the future, Smoke, what do you think about this? Charlotte Flair coming back, and now it seems like Charlotte Flair is on this whole thing where it's like, I can just waltz right in. I can come in anytime I want. Shotzi, no. Xia Li, no. Lacey Evans, no. Raquel Rodriguez, no. Candice LeRae, no. Charlotte Flair, she comes in immediately for a title shot when other females have to go through Money in the Bank qualifying matches to earn the shot at the briefcase to get a title opportunity, and Charlotte Flair's gone for 3 months, waltzes right in and for a title shot. How does that make you feel? She even tweeted out something, don't be mad because you guys like it, or something like that. I don't even know what the tweet was, or something like that. Don't be mad because this is what's expected from Charlotte Flair now, man. She does this all the time. We're going to hate it, but in the same way, we have to respect her for it. Right, Smoke?
I didn't know if that was the end of it.
That was it.
I was waiting.
That was it.
Okay, all right. All right, because the question happened a while back.
Yeah. Sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So my opinion is, who else is stepping up?
There is nobody else.
Who else is stepping up?
There is nobody else.
Nobody.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Nobody else has stepped up to actually try to actually bring something to the table worth talking about.
Yeah.
Nobody absolutely on that roster has done anything to me, in my opinion, to elevate that division. I feel like when Charlotte's gone, I feel like the division goes on pause. Like the division goes on pause completely when she's gone, and it's like they just have these small
mini feuds
that don't mean shit until she shows up. And it's like they purposely do it, and it kind of pissed me off a little bit because I'm like, you have women that are very well qualified to do this, and it's like you guys give these feuds, and it's like the pay-per-views they get, it's like almost done on purpose. They're during pay-per-views that don't mean shit.
Yeah. She says, I don't have to wait in line because I am the line.
No, I mean, she's not wrong. Sorry for yelling. She's not wrong.
Yeah.
You're just passionate.
I'm just saying, like, because when it comes to that, it's like, so her coming back yesterday, that instantly had me glued to the TV when she attacked Asuka. The chemistry was already there. They have history. Asuka should be shaking in her boots because this is like the second or third time they've had her lose to Charlotte for her title, like before a pay-per-view. So it very well could happen again. And it's like they instantly had chemistry. She instantly drew heat, and we had a dominant female in the ring who was coming for a newly revealed title.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, in my opinion, I feel like if anyone else has a problem with it, then somebody else should step up. And I feel like honestly, Neal, I know we've had many theories about a lot of things going on, but I truly feel like they're setting up a Bianca versus Charlotte kind of deal, because Bianca has been saying she wants to compete against Charlotte for the longest time.
Yeah.
That's why I think the SmackDown move. That's why I think they've been doing this slow build up. I think they want a Bianca Belair versus Charlotte.
They do. I feel like they're similar enough in the ring, but they would complement each other the entire time.
I feel like I agree. I feel like Charlotte would bring something out of Bianca. I mean, Bianca has been tested from Sasha Banks,
Becky Lynch, Bailey, kind of sorted to an extent, but not so much.
They actually didn't have a bad feud.
It wasn't terrible, but
Bailey, Asuka. But I really do, and you might can disagree with me on this. I truly feel like Charlotte is going to be the one to hit the nail on the head for. I feel like she's going to bring the one to bring out Belair's true potential.
I mean, you thinking this is like John Cena, Randy Orton or something? Like, how good do you think this is going to be?
I don't think it's going to be like amazing. I just think that it's going to be, you got two strong, powerful athletes in the ring. I think
it could be. It could be amazing.
I just the chemistry got to be there. If the chemistry ain't there, it won't be. But they have history, and I think if the two of them really go at it, we got something to talk about.
How soon are you thinking? Because if it's SummerSlam, I mean, then Asuka's going to have to drop the title soon. And would that be too soon for Asuka, who just wanted to restart her gimmick?
yes, it'd be definitely too soon.
It would be too soon.
Unless it's a non-title.
Do you think that Asuka personally needs this title right now?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I feel like it's hard for her new character to
develop,
hold a title right now, in my opinion. I just feel like she's not really there yet. At least maybe that's just my opinion.
No,
that's
I agree.
Just how I feel.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, when they had her, didn't even have the makeup on when she was talking to Charlotte, it already seemed like the character was non-existent.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see the Fiend without his mask or his makeup or his attire backstage, right?
And I know she was talking to literally, like, I guess, an authority figure, and they wanted her to seem more.
I don't think she's going to put that makeup she's wearing, though, that blue and white she comes out to the ring with. She's not going to put that on every single time she comes out.
So that's not it's her war paint. When she goes into a fight, that's when she puts it on.
Yes.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine.
That's
just
not too bad. No.
When I look up old videos, though, of this character, it's a little different than what we have now.
It's more
menacing.
Yeah, more menacing, more demonic.
Yeah.
So instead of an unhinged Asuka, we get it just in the ring. Yes. She knows when to place her demons.
It's right? there, but it's like fully there when she's in the ring. And,
Gotcha.
And my thoughts on Bianca versus Charlotte Flair, I think would be really good. I think they'll bring the best out of each other. And then you got to think, though, too, Bianca was like, I'm pining for a rematch with Asuka. Charlotte Flair immediately comes in, gets her a title shot against Asuka in 3 weeks. And Bianca's like, what the fuck, man? Like, I got to put back to the back burner. Are they going to make it a triple threat eventually? Is Bianca going to complain her way? Bianca and Charlotte have a history, back in the NXT days when Charlotte went down there for a cup of coffee. So there is something there to build off of. And I think they're opposites. I think in the ring, they would have a really good match. They necessarily don't wrestle the same, but I feel like it would be really good. And obviously, Bianca has matured light years of where she was years ago.
All she got to do is tell Charlotte, remember when you told me to sit in the corner and braid my hair?
Yep. Charlotte treated her like a kid, like a child. And at the time, her maturity level as a professional wrestler wasn't there yet. But I think Charlotte... So, me personally, do I want Charlotte a part of the women's division? Yes. Does she bring the best out of other people? Yes. You have to step up to her. She shouldn't have to work her way down to you.
She doesn't even have to be champ, and people want to go for her.
Now, let me speak on that, too. With Charlotte Flair... In order for her to be relevant, I feel like my problem is she has to be going for a championship. that's the way she feels validated. That's the way she feels like I mean something.
Because if I have that title.
I need to have gold around my waist, because what's a meaningful feud and a meaningful storyline that she has without the championship involved? She needs that title. She needs to go for something. Now, I feel like the all-time greats don't necessarily need to be involved in a championship quality match. Shit, man, Shawn Michaels did that for years, not being in the world title picture. Undertaker did it for years and not being in a world championship picture. There's guys and women that been around and relevant without having to go for something. And I think that's what I would want to see more of, not necessarily be in the championship picture. Becky Lynch can do it. I feel like a lot of people can do it, but Charlotte Flair in the women's division elevates it to an extent. But the girls, man, they got to step up to her. She shouldn't have to work her way down, and that's what I see Charlotte Flair. And hopefully, I don't want to see Asuka dropping the title this soon. I really don't. And my prediction is Flair's going to win it the day before Money in the Bank, and then Selena Vega is going to win Money in the Bank. And we're not going to get the Io Sky Asuka match we want, because WWE is going to put Selena Vega against Charlotte Flair, and it's going to be no threat. Because why? Selena Vega and the merchandise sales with LWO is on fire right now, and I think they're going to do a Selena Vega push. She did well in her match against Rhea Ripley, as good as she could do. She's riding that high from Puerto Rico. She has a newfound confidence, and I think this is where we're going to go. I want to see Io Sky with it, but I'm leaning towards more Selena Vega versus Charlotte Flair, because I think it would be somewhat different, but maybe that's not the match we want to see personally, but I think that's the way WWE is going to go.
Yeah, and I'm gonna piggyback off that one. When you were talking about Charlotte, and not everybody needs to win championships all the time when you're that recognized, when you're basically already going to be in the Hall of Fame. You don't need to always be in the title picture, but I feel like, to play devil's advocate, it kind of works for her, for Charlotte Flair's gimmick, because basically what she is she thinks she is so amazing. She is going to be that Hall of Famer, that she's not just going to win she's not going to just win the championship. That's like, she feels like it's her championship. She's had it so many times. She's like, this is mine. Give it back. I kind of like it. I kind of like the character.
I would have to agree with Dean. Her character being the queen means that she reigns supreme over all. She holds those titles. Honestly, those titles are she is a part of the titles gimmick.
Yes.
Charlotte Flair
reminds me of somebody like, Ric Flair. And
she elevates the championship.
Charlotte elevates the championship. Think about it. When you put that belt on someone else, it's kind of like
if you put the same SmackDown or Raw Women's title on Nikki Cross, is it gonna mean the same as when you put it on Charlotte Flair? Now, granted, Charlotte Flair got cashed in on a couple times too.
Yeah, she did.
She did. So they fucked her over in that regard, but that's how she ended up losing. But that was her excuse. Be like, hey, I just had a wrestling fucking match, and then you're gonna cash it on me. And it happened what, twice or three times? Twice, right? And Charlotte Flair was like, no. You beat me one-on-one straight up, I'm going to win the title back. And what happened? She probably won the title back. That's why she's, what, a 14-time champ now?
I think, I always go back to that that one segment where Asuka and Alexa Bliss were in the ring talking, and Alexa Bliss was like, oh, I'm so glad you chose the other champion because you already knew that I would be too much for you. And Asuka, simply put...
You mean Charlotte? You said Asuka.
No, that's what I was going for. That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Asuka simply said, in order to be the woman, you got to beat the woman.
Asuka wouldn't say that.
She did say that, actually.
Asuka?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Asuka told Alexa Bliss that.
Okay.
She told Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss was like, I'm so glad you chose when Asuka won the Royal Rumble.
Oh, and those two had that thing going.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss was like, I'm glad you went after the champion on the B show because you already knew that I would be too much. And she started laughing. And then Asuka said, in order to be the woman, you have to beat the woman.
Yeah.
And you ain't the woman.
Yeah.
And that spoke so many, and I remember that segment because that spoke so many volumes, because everyone assumed the beef between Alexa Bliss and Asuka would be that's who she would choose.
Yeah.
And she was like, That's cute and all, but I want to go after a real beast, the Rhea Ripley. Oh yeah, I got Bianca Belair, but I need to go after the chick that stole my title years ago and made me look like a simp in the ring, and put me in my place. And she put on a great. That's what made me pay attention to their WrestleMania match, is because Rhea Ripley did that entire segment and she said, "You put me in my place." She was like, "You may be the queen, but they won't be bowing down to you for long." To me, segments like that solidify that person and elevates them and elevates the title. Yep. And it's the person who holds that title is who brings that importance to it.
Because you said it many times there, Smoke. You said everybody wants to be Charlotte Flair.
Everybody wants to be Charlotte Flair.
That puts you on the map. It makes a name for yourself. Now, if other young, up-and-coming people can... I think even Tiffany Stratton mentioned it's like she wants to face Charlotte Flair.
Liv Morgan said before she got her push, she said, "I want to be in the same conversation as Charlotte Flair."
They all say it. Now, when it comes to, since we're on the topic of women's wrestling, we could transition to the women's tag team champions, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, versus, we're going to get a unification match against Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, the NXT women's champions who appear on SmackDown. On SmackDown, Ronda Rousey came out and was like, "Hey, we want these belts too. We're going to take them. There's nothing you can pretty much do about it." Now, I had an interesting perspective on this too before we actually talk about the unification match, which is much needed. Ronda Rousey ended up running away from them a little bit, and I'm thinking, you're supposed to be this dominant female, and you ran away. I know that's some heel kind of work. Like, I don't want to fight on your time. I'm gonna fight on my time, but I can't see Ronda Rousey running from anybody.
Well, actually,
that seemed kind of weird to me. I would not have done that.
Well, I really wanted to ask Dean too, to be honest with you. Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. You watch NXT. You're one of those kids. What is it so great about them two as champions?
I mean, I've always seen them as solid workers. I mean, they weren't bad. They were fine. I don't know. I personally haven't caught on to it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Okay, because I'm kind of wondering why the call up so soon.
Yeah.
For those two, I mean, I know
everybody stays down there for years, and they popped up pretty quick.
And I know they're trained. I know they've probably been in the Indies for a while, but I just don't. I didn't see it for them, and that whole witchcraft shit. That don't work on the main roster. No one. Grown adults don't care about that.
Yeah.
Like,
they don't.
Unless you're on Impact, where that kind of works, because that's what the show Impact Wrestling is kind of based around, the whole gothic witchcrafty stuff, and they always have been kind of for years. But
Impact's always felt like the black sheep of the family, so of course they're into the weird shit.
Yeah, but it's just like these two.
I feel like Impact could do anything they wanted and get away with it. They tried. They threw everything to the wall. Whatever stuck. If it didn't, okay, it's Impact. You know what I'm saying? It didn't necessarily. Honestly, man, it did not matter what you did in Impact Wrestling.
You didn't have promoters being upset, business partners being upset. You didn't have
worry of shit, man. Sponsors pulling out. Like, you just, hey, we'll try this. If it shits the beds, then so be it.
Sponsors be like, what show is this again?
Even Booker T mentioned, he's like, he regretted a lot of his time in Impact Wrestling. He said it himself, and I'm like, okay.
He said he regretted?
Yes. He regretted a lot of things like, he did in Impact Wrestling.
Oh, because he did too much, or he didn't do enough?
Maybe creative wise, yeah. I don't know if he went into details, but I don't think he was too keen on his time there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's weird because he was top heel. Anyway, we're going down somewhere else. He was a top heel for a while. But
so,
anyway,
what do we think about the unification of the women's tag team titles? It's a long time coming. NXT cannot support a women's tag team division. WWE, the main roster, can barely support a women's tag team champion division. So this is obviously the way to go with it. And it feels like WWE is finally not listening to the fans, because obviously they don't do that, but it's stuff we've been talking about for a really long time. They're like, hey, we see the writing on the wall. We cannot sustain two separate women's tag team champions. That's not going to happen. We got to unify the titles. And honestly, man, if Isla Dawn and Alba Fire win, I'll be more than happy with that decision than just Ronda Rousey and Baszler collecting the belts, and then we're gonna still be bored to fucking tears with them, man.
I think this is just like you said. This is just a way for them to get rid of those titles, and so when it comes to Ronda and Shayna, I kind of do want them to win only because they're made to look strong. They're supposed to look strong.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're gonna have them as a team and a dominant team at that, then they should always look strong.
That would be such a WWE thing to do. Like, it would be. I mean, I would want to see the upset. Like, because you're not expecting the other two to win the titles, and I'm thinking, to me, that would be unexpected, and to me, that would get me, I guess, more enthusiastic. I do not want to see. I got mixed feelings on Baszler. I think she's boring. Ronda Rousey, she's cringe as fuck now. Even when she comes out on the mic, she's getting booed, and she has such a disconnect with the fans. I cannot remember a bigger fall off, man. When she came in their first run in WWE, she was on fucking fire. She was getting cheered. She had the great debut match at WrestleMania. I mean, she ended up getting the championship, and then she got on the mic. Again, her mic skills are not the greatest. She's not going to be MJF. She's not going to be Austin. She's not going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. She's not going to be Chris Jericho. She's not going to be any of these people. But she was okay in it, that you can probably get around her mic skills. But man, for being up here to plummeting down as far as she has on the likability factor of the fans to her is quite amazing and has to be actually studied, because to be so disconnect from the fans, as popular as she is, and not give a fuck, and she doesn't really care, she's not trying to gain fans or popularity or anything like that, is quite amazing. And I know, Dean, you could probably touch on this. Have you ever seen a bigger fall off? Because I haven't. It being as popular as she was and then dropping down to being so unlikable, man. That's crazy.
No, that's wild.
That's it? That's all you got? That's all you got?
Yeah, man, I don't feel much. But do you know what I feel much about? Do you know what I feel a lot about? Do you know what tickles my...
And what's that?
Pickles. Do you know what makes me feel good inside?
What tickles your pickle?
The Money in the Bank match.
Okay.
For the men and the women.
Specifically,
tickles
what?
Both my pickles.
Interesting. Interesting choice of words there.
In the women's match, we have Zelina Vega, Bayley, Io Sky, Becky Lynch, Zoe Stark, and one TBD left. Now,
Yes.
with that accumulation so far, sounds like a great match.
It does.
Do we have an idea on where you think this is going to go now that we know most of the contestants, or do you think the TBD will win it?
I don't know what TBD is.
To be determined.
Yeah, I know what it... You trying to get smart, man?
No,
I know what it fucking means, man, but I don't know who the participant is.
I'm sorry.
Fucking wise guy over here, man.
I'm just playing.
Can I answer the question?
Go ahead,
Yes,
man.
sir,
All right.
go ahead.
Well, I made my case. I wanted Io Sky win, but I feel like Selena Vega is going to win just for the fact because merchandise sales are good, and I feel like that's a WWE style booking.
I don't
they're
think so. I think you're wrong, Neil.
How am I wrong?
I think
Explain
I
to
think
me.
You're wrong.
And
Neil.
who is going to win the women's Money in the Bank
I
match?
think you're half
Lacey
wrong.
Evans, of course.
She's not. She already lost.
Which number are you? I can turn it off. Let me look here. Lacey Evans for sure not gonna win. No. Hopefully she's not the TBD. I don't think that gimmick's gonna get over.
I don't want to see Becky Lynch win. Please do not cop out and make Becky Lynch win. No,
Neil,
no,
I think you're half right.
No.
I think you're half right.
No.
Io Sky might win, man.
I want her to win, but I feel like they're gonna give it to Selena Vega because Charlotte's gonna win the title on the night before, and that's what they're gonna give us. It's gonna be instead of the quote unquote dream match we want between Io and Asuka. No, I'll be like, just make Flair and Vega, and we're like, yep. Okay.
Well, I can already see where this is going. Lynch and Stark, they're going to probably feud throughout the match.
Yeah.
That means if they got a feud going into this, neither one of them are going to win.
Yeah, they're just gonna battle.
cost each other.
Yep.
out.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Because it needs to lead to SummerSlam, so that makes sense.
Mhm.
They're going to try to get Stark over. Good for her. They're pushing her.
Yes.
Bailey, Vega, I think they're just big names at the moment who need to be in the match for popularity reasons. But I don't think Vega has the long-term potential right now. She doesn't have it.
And I think Bailey, you just said people that Becky and Zoe Stark are going to cost each other. I think Bailey and Io are going to cost each other.
They are.
Because they're in Damage Control, but there's been a little riff, a little ruffle in the feathers, a little crack, a little fly in the ointment.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Let's just let that.
A little fly,
crumbled.
a little fly in the ointment. So I think that's what's going to happen. Therefore,
I totally forgot they were a thing.
When
Damage Control.
Yeah.
When everybody else is down, guess what? Selena Vega climbing that ladder, grabbing that briefcase, and everybody
I think Zelina is kind of like the Kofi right now, man. She's just kind of that underdog that people like.
It's the little engine that could thing.
But you know what would be cute? Let me get to this. We have so far, which is weird, Ricochet is in the match. That's what the website's showing, but it ended in a no contest against Bronson Reed. Wasn't that a qualifier? So if it's a no contest, why is it showing he's in the match? I don't know. But anyway.
No, that was the week prior, bro.
Okay, Ricochet, Nakamura, LA Knight, Santos Escobar, and Butch.
LA Knight easy.
I love Butch. I love LA Knight. I'm not saying this is the case. We have Santos Escobar and Zelina Vega. Could they be Miss and Mr. Money in the Bank?
No.
You don't think so at all? That's not a possibility? You don't think they're going to push
I said
LWO too much?
I said LA Knight was going to be Money in the Bank winner last year.
Yeah, and I stand by it too.
It's a long time coming, man.
You think
it's a long time coming.
I think he's got it.
I don't see anyone else winning but LA Knight, but if I had to guess a second person, Santos and Zelina, man,
What's the best outcome for Santos winning?
Right. I mean,
he's going to go against Seth Rollins in the main event on Monday Night Raw. Great, he'll lose.
You think he's going to cash in before the match?
No, Santos won't cash in on LA Knight on Seth Rollins after a match. He'll be like, "Hey, I'm going to cash it in on you. We'll fight this day."
Knowing how, I know they're not Legato anymore, but knowing how they used to be, they felt kind of like they were like crime bosses, and they were a whole mafia. The thing is I can see those two holding the Money in the Bank briefcase and kind of like encapsulating kind of like this cool underground edgy vibe of I have something you don't have, because that's what a lot of gangs are. It's always, this is my leverage and I got you. I can see the promos. It's written for them. They don't have to write it much. I think that would be a really great storyline. The only problem is we have LA Knight. Shinsuke, he's never been world champion before yet. He's been, intercontinental. He's been the United States, but he has not been world champion. Butch, a guy who's in desperate need of a revival. And Ricochet, I love Ricochet. Not saying he's ever going to be world champ.
He won't never be world champ. He will never be world champion.
Speaking of Zelina being kind of the Kofi, Ricochet's kind of the Kofi in this match, to where he's more exciting, but he's not going to win. He's more exciting.
You know what though, Ricochet? He's honestly, man, he got typecast as you'll be the highlight reel, but you'll never win anything.
Sadly,
yeah. He is the modern day Kofi. He's the RVD. He's the Evan Bourne.
I love Evan Bourne.
John Morrison. John Morrison was going to give you a highlight reel package in Money in the Bank, but there's no way. He falls in that category, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's the same shit like how it was 15 years ago. He is that, because he's dry as fuck on the mic and he has no personality, and that's Butch, sad to say.
Butch, even though
we root for Ricochet. I want him to succeed.
We do,
but it's just stating the facts here.
And like I was saying, we root for Butch a lot as well. It's just the problem is
I root for Pete Dunne. I don't root for Butch.
Exactly. So the problem is he needs that character change, but he is not going to win that Money in the Bank. Right now, the only reason they put the character Butch in is to have this pesky little guy fucking everybody up.
Pretty much.
That's the reason. That is the reason. He's not going to win. He's a pest. Ricochet's the highlight. Nakamura is a guy who has the most behind him WWE wise, but he's going to fall short
Nakamura
to
is
LA Knight.
Nakamura is always a contender, but he'll never get the main strap. He just never will,
I can
man.
see him as world champion. Because I thought when I looked him up, honestly, I was going to see if he was ever world champion before. I was like, he's got to be the Universal Champion once, I think. But no. Even though he won the Rumble, he has not won the world title, the WWE title, none of that.
He should have, but he didn't.
But side quest.
Side mission.
Our favorite wrestler on the Marking Out Network right now, Dom slaps Cody Rhodes on Miz TV. That's weird.
That seemed random as fuck too. Now, are we gonna get a Cody Rhodes Dominic feud? Because I don't want to see that. But hey, you can make the case. I
disagree. I really want to see it.
To me,
I want to see them headline Mania.
I really don't. You got the hottest baby face on Raw, and then you got definitely the hottest heel probably in the company going against each other. And on paper, that seems like money, right, Smoke? But this is not for Cody Rhodes. It's not a side quest. He's not on the main mission anymore. I don't know where he's going. The main mission was back to Roman. He went on a side mission with Brock Lesnar, but the Dominic thing is an errand.
Mm-hmm.
It's so in video games, you have the main, you have the side, and then you have the errands. He's on the errand mission now, where it's like I can do without it, but I might do it if I got time. I'll entertain that thing, but then I need to get back on track. And then Cody Rhodes is like, he's probably thinking like, how did I get here? I was on the verge of dethroning the greatest champ of our generation, and now I'm in feud with Dominic Mysterio.
Kind of like what Cordell said, man.
Just think about that.
Kind of like what Cordell said. He lost to the final boss, right?
And now he has to start from ground zero,
because now he lost his money, his ammo. He lost everything. Yeah, he's got to do
he's
side
depleted.
quests. Yeah.
He's got to build back up that reputation and all that credentials again, man.
Exactly. And listen, I know it's been a great episode. We're kind of running long here. I will say the one thing that I'm looking through, we've talked Judgment, we've talked a lot of things. We've talked Bloodline, of course. We can't not go without talking about Big Rome's. Seth Rollins, Damian Priest.
Would you call him Big Rome?
Big Rome's.
No, nothing.
Big Rome's.
Okay.
Big Rome's.
Seth freaking Rollins and Damian Priest had a great world title match. Of course, we knew Rollins was going to win, but he is holding up his end of the bargain to defend his title very often. I don't know if it's every week.
I like that,
but very often.
I just don't want an open challenge all the time because I don't want this to be the Seth Rollins Open Challenge from 2018 for the Intercontinental Championship.
It doesn't do it for me.
No. Now it's like I know we complain a lot about stuff. Roman doesn't defend the title often, but then Seth's like, I want to defend it all the time. Gotta find that kind of middle ground, man. Like I don't want
a title you don't want to lose.
A world championship, do not defend it weekly. No, because you're already automatically devaluing it to me. Like it has to be special. Yeah. Now, granted, don't have long fucking a month, 45-day gaps, but defend it on occasion. Just find that middle ground, man. Like it's not an Intercontinental title. Orange Cassidy defends his international AEW championship weekly, man. He's a fucking workhorse. He defends it weekly, and he has good matches, quality matches. The match with Swerve Strickland on Dynamite was fucking fantastic, man. But that's not the world championship. It's the mid-card title, and I don't want this open challenge seemingly like a mid-card title, even though it kind of sort of is like a mid-card between a mid-card title and the main world championship. I don't even know how to define it, man, but that's how it feels to me. It doesn't feel like a world championship yet because we know who's got the main one.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. I know where WWE is going with it. If you defend it every week, you are a fighter.
Fighting champion.
You are a fighting champion. The problem is that I thought there was more value in the championship when they said, you know what? You're going to be in a championship match tonight. And you know what your reaction is? You kind of hold the title a little closer to you and you're staring at it and you're like, I don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
But I got to do it. Right?
Yeah.
That means that's your gold, right? That's your all your money, your worth. That's who you are. But if Seth comes out here, yes, he looks strong, but it devalues the championship because he's like, here, let me throw it to the side. Let's do this. It's like, no, you need to make it seem like you don't want to lose it either.
There shouldn't be an open challenge for any World Heavyweight Championship. Like Ric Flair didn't do it. Stone Cold's not going to do it. Hulk Hogan's not going to open challenge. Like, you don't do an open challenge for a World Heavyweight Championship. You do not do that. You don't.
So I see both sides to the coin. I'm more on the often, but not weekly.
Yes.
I agree.
The middle
100%.
ground. You got to find that middle ground.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, this week has been okay. Money in the Bank is heating up. They have not added right now any other matches besides just the Money in the Bank.
Yes.
So far.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to. We don't have to talk about it too much, but I did want to mention Kevin Owens, Gunther.
Fantastic.
Amazing match. I don't know why that didn't come up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it didn't come up. Gunther versus KO was fucking amazing. Gunther celebrating his 1 year anniversary, 1 year mark for being the Intercontinental Champion. He's going to be the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. He's going to break Honky Tonk Man's record. I know he's still got a long way to go to do that, but I think he is because he's earned that right and he's putting up good matches. You could put Ali, Kevin Owens. He could face pretty much anybody on the main roster. He's going to give you a good quality match. And I feel sorry for people that face him, and I don't know who's going to defeat him one day. But he's building up a resume and a legacy where the next person that defeats him is going to be a big fucking deal. And I think it's going to be Dragunov. I'm just saying.
And I was going to close off, but now you kind of got me going real quick. I don't think we saw Kevin Owens and Gunther fight because Kevin Owens is going to go for the IC title. I don't think so. I think we're going to see the Bloodline Part 2 a little bit. Hear me out. Gunther is going to be that long Intercontinental Champion that you said, right?
Yeah.
But what would look better if Imperium had the tag titles as well?
That's
right?
what I was wondering.
So now they're going to implement that storyline and have Imperium defeat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and then we're going to see kind of this large stable on Monday Night Raw being the full Imperium all decked out with championships. Would you like that?
I would.
I think they're testing Gunther because he's going to be world champion next year.
Next year.
At some point. I don't know when Roman's going to lose it. Mark your calendars to 2024 September, but I feel like they're testing Gunther. And they could be not the next Bloodline. I don't want to say the next anything Bloodline because there won't be a next Bloodline when it comes to storytelling. But I think Bloodline is the main faction now, but you can have Imperium as the main faction, heel faction, maybe even a face faction of the WWE eventually. Gunther, his time is now, man, and I think it's going to happen. I could see him being World Heavyweight Champion, but them getting the tag titles, that's not so far-fetched. I could see it happening. I like Imperium as a whole, as a collective. They have really good chemistry. They put on good quality matches, and Gunther is a leading guy. He is somebody you can literally, like, he's a number one draft pick. Like, I want Gunther as my main champion. Nobody's going to disagree with that whatsoever.
While they're on top and they're killing it, that is when they implement the call-up of Dragunov, and he goes after Gunther's ass.
He beat him once before. He could do it again.
This would be a great thing.
Yep.
I want to see it happen. But anyway, okay, we're going to wrap it up here. I will announce that we have 2 big interviews coming up. Confirmed.
We tried one tonight. Didn't work out, but we're going to try it again.
Just technical issues, but back-to-back interviews. We're going to be killing it. We're going to Collision. We're going to Dynamite, both in Chicago.
CM Punk's return, baby.
Got a lot going on in June, so a lot of content coming. I'm at 99 Dean Walker. He's at Cordell Ponson.
Yeah.
Neal runs all of our socials pretty much. It's at Marking Out Pod, at Pod Marking Out, both on Instagram and Twitter. Everything's down below. So just figure that shit out.
Yes.
I'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.